I always recommend people buy cars from good suburbs. I don't always follow my own advice. Welcome back to Talking with Jazz with your host, BigDaddy0. We're having a walk back in time to explore the life and my experience of the life of Raul Lopez, who used to be my hairdresser, and I really miss him. So I'm making him a dedication video series. That's what this is. Raul was always part of every car I ever bought and sold. I used to buy and sell cars. I still buy and sell cars. I love buying and selling cars. I like buying them mostly. Selling them, I like that too, actually. It can be hard work. And I always recommend people buy cars from fancy suburbs. I've always got this fantasy of the Volvo from Camberwell. You know, it's dirt cheap. It's almost as good as the Mercedes from Toorak, where the wife and the husband are having a spat, and the wife advertised a $70,000 Mercedes-Benz for $4,000. And someone just walked up and said, $4,000? I'll take that. Now, I think that's in the old world. Wouldn't be in the internet. Wouldn't happen. Okay? But that was what happened. And then the wife could sort of say, I sorted out the car issue. I've got rid of it. And the husband would be like really mad. But the guy that bought it, he just saved himself $60-something thousand. I'm not going to do that. Math. It's too hard. Anyway. I have in the past made a profit on selling cars. I know that nobody actually ever really does that. And I don't do it with every car I buy and sell. I can only do it with the certain cars that I buy, because the making of the money is done at the purchase, not when you try and sell it, because that's too hard. You got to buy right, which means you've got to be extreme, and you've got to have very strict rules about what you buy. You can't just say, I want red. You have to take what you get, but maybe if red's the only desirable colour in the future, then you better bloody well get red, or wait. You see, that's how it works. You have to wait. You have to wait for the car that is right. You've got to wait for the Camberwell Volvo. You know, and you work to a formula. But you won't make money selling a Camberwell Volvo. And whatever you do, don't buy a Camberwell Volvo from me. For me, a Camberwell Volvo is a disposable car. That's right. I buy it, I trash it, and then it just gets towed away. It has a good life. I service it, I look after it, but pretty much once you've kind of been through the ringer, there's not much left of the car. And there's a certain lifespan to these sorts of things. I broke my own rules recently. Actually about 5 years ago. But it was too good a bargain to go past. There it was, advertised at half the price of the other cars in the same class. It was a Volkswagen Touareg, you know, the people's car. Absolutely not. It's like a luxury four-wheel drive SUV that goes like anything and chews through petrol like you've never seen. So this was me buying a disposable car. But unfortunately, I didn't listen to my own advice. I was just too attracted by the price. Anyway, it was $8,000. That was a lot of money. It's always a lot of money. But I always pay in cash. So I drove it around. It was driving bloody nicely. It was fast. It handled the corners, you know. It had big brakes on it. I thought, this is me. I handed over the $8,000. Even while I was actually handing over the $8,000, the guy's phone was just ringing, you know, because everyone had noticed, because I had waited for this $8,000 Volkswagen. And it appeared. And I swooped. And I wasn't going to get a RACV test. I was just going to check it out. Now, of course, the car did have a bit of history, and most of it was bad. It was from, what shall we say, not a very flash suburb, from not a very flash house, from not a very flash bloke, but a nice bloke. But he was clearly hiding something. I could tell. I said to him, well, if there's something really wrong, you can arrange a refund. And he said, no. And I said, oh. Now that's just, I would just say that sort of thing just to see what people will say. And in this instance, the fact that he answered so quickly and was not flummoxed by my trying to throw him off stuff, he, yeah. And of course, you know where this is going. There was something wrong with the car. Yes. You had to get it up to about 100 kilometers an hour. Once it hit 100 kilometers an hour, it was cruising along like you were King of Germany or something. I don't know, the Kaiser. You felt like the Kaiser. The thing was flying. It was fantastic. But when you took your foot off the accelerator, it felt like the car was going to pull itself apart. There was something wrong, something so bad that the car felt like it was going to explode. And it was sort of pulling itself in all directions, and the wheel and the steering wheel and the brakes and everything. And at exactly that moment, obviously, I'd given up the $8,000, and there I was. And at the same time, I was also experimenting with the heated seats, which was a lovely feature, but it was then making me really sweaty, and I was like really going, oh my God, I've just blown $8,000 on this crap heap. So what did I do? I parked the car, got into another car, went to see Raul to get a haircut. I needed a haircut anyway. And I told him a story. And you know, he was full of wise words, but not really. He's not really into cars. He wouldn't know what I was talking about. But he sort of said things that were calming and soothing and cutting hair, and, you know, it all felt so much better. I just told him the story, you know, blow by blow and all that, and, you know, that there was no answer and I didn't know what it was. I'm going to quickly tell you the answer, so if you want to just hear the automotive explanation and how it all turned out, okay. Turned out, it's a common problem on these model. It's called a valve body, which is part of the automatic transmission. Now, it's a rather complicated part. The first thing I did was I got a quote from the local mechanic. He said $4,000 plus. And I thought, well, that doesn't make this car terribly cheap, does it? But it is still cheaper than the price of the next nearest one. So I thought, well, I'm still ahead, just. Then I looked it up on the forums. I asked the forums the questions. This is a bit like looking it up on YouTube. But the forums were very definitive about what was the problem. The forum said, yes, this is the valve body. And I said, okay, that's fine. Now, you can't get a valve body in Australia. You have to buy it from America. Okay. Fortunately, the US dollar, Australian dollar exchange rate was about 1 for 1. So for about $800, I was able to import a valve body from the US, which was in fact a rebuilt one, so a second-hand one, but rebuilt. And for another, I think, $200 or $300, I got it fitted. It all turned out to be really hunky-dory. And that valve body still goes today, and so does that car. Although it is falling apart, and I will be having to, you know, call the wreckers fairly soon. Why don't you just have a great day? Thank you for watching that video. I do hope you enjoyed it, or learned something, or hated it. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you do the right thing and subscribe. It's really important that you subscribe because then you won't miss another video. I do hope you're learning more about Raul. Raul is one of my favourite people. He's very special to me. Keep watching, keep learning, and why don't you have a great day?